Hey YouTube world, it is Jennifer Watson, and I am here to talk to you today about an interesting event that happened over a couple of days ago. So I'm gonna sit here and have my glass of wine because this thing just makes me so upset every single time I sit here and think about it. This week has been very eventful, right? So I've been doing a lot of business work, getting some products ready, getting ready to go out and meet some folk, you know what I mean? And generally really excited about what I'm about to do, although it's very tiring. So case in point, I went to do some vending at an event, met a lot of awesome people, met this one guy. I call him Dr. Awesome because he goes around handing out these awesome cards. It says, "You are awesome," and I don't have my card with me, but it says, "You are awesome" on one side, and then on the other side it says, "I am awesome." So you're supposed to repeat that aloud to him. Super, super cool dude. And I told him to meet me at Terra Blue, downtown Greensboro, so that I can get him on this channel. Oh, such a lovely person named Ron. Anyhow, so I'm at this event, and I'm walking up. I had to go and park my car at a block away because that's where the parking deck was. And I'm walking back to the park to do my event, to stand at my table, set it up, get really excited about displaying my products and whatnot. And this girl stops me, Asian chick. She rolls down the window and she says, "You look really pretty in Jesus' name." And I stopped for a second. I was like, "Oh, well, thank you." I mean, anyone that says, you look pretty, I'm like, I'm going to take that. I love that compliment. Thank you. No matter whose name it's said in, I'm like, okay, I just found it very peculiar. But I let it go because I've never received a compliment from someone in Jesus' name. Never in my life. So this was a first. And I said, okay, well, I guess, well, hell, in Jesus' name, I'm pretty today. So I'm going, I'm sitting there and I go set up my table. I'm vibing, I'm jamming, music is playing. I'm sitting there dancing at my table all by my damn self, having myself a good time, despite I was there by myself. I mean, the music was playing, that was keeping me company. And someone comes up. At this particular moment, I will say I did decide to go and stand in front of my table because for the most part of the event, I was standing behind my table. But for whatever reason, I said, okay, let me go stand in front of my table. So this girl starts walking up. She has on a really cute dress. It's like a vintage-like dress. And as she was coming up, she's like, "Oh, I was coming to compliment you on your skirt." I had on an African purple print skirt. I had my hair wrapped up in my white scarf. I had all that going. And she was like, "Yeah, I just wanted to come and compliment you on your skirt." It was a white girl. I don't care about race, but I'm telling you white on purpose. So you have to continue listening to the story. And I was like, "Yeah, I was just about to compliment you on your dress because I thought it was really cute. It was totally my style. It was like that classic, like Ann Taylor-ish kind of look, right?" Which I did shop at a lot of Ann Taylor, by the way, long years ago. Anyway, and so she's looking at my table. I have my bath sauce, my spiritual bath sauce. I have my Conjure oils on there. I have some other stuff, but particularly mainly the spiritual bath salts and the Conjure oils. And she's like looking at it, asking me about it, and I'm telling her. And then that's when I fell into the trap. That shit was a trap. So she says, "My friend complimented you earlier on your skirt, so I wanted to come over and just kind of see what it is that you were doing." Okay. At that time, I did not put two and two together that it was the Asian girl hanging out of her window telling me that I was pretty in Jesus' name. So I was like, okay, cool. So she starts to go into a story about how she had been into the whole New Age world for about 15 years and how she's very sensitive to spirit. And she was like, I can tell you are too. And I'm like, yeah. And I felt everything just started to go downhill. Here's why. Because she starts giving me this very long, detailed story about all of the things that she had known and about how spirits that she thought were there to help her could have been demons and dark angels, fallen angels. And I just had to go back and reread the Bible and understand that Jesus was the only way to live and yada, yada, yada. It's like, I'm good. It's like, yeah, I'm good. And I was like, yeah, I've done readings and I've had, dark entities growl at me on the other side while I'm doing readings, and I know who they are. But I'm good. I'm good. There's really nothing else for me to say, but I am good. She kept continuously trying to talk to me about how Jesus was the only way and this and this and this and that. And I'm like, okay, but I got a kicker for you at the end of the story. A real kicker. So I continue to say I'm good over and over and over and over. I have a few points about this story. I told her where I got my African print skirt at, and she said that she wanted to go and get one as well. She comes over to my table addressing what I have on my table as this whole new age thing, dot, 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 dot. But what she failed to even ask about, or maybe she just assumed, was that the very thing that attracted her to come over and talk to me about my African print skirt was the very thing that I had on my table that was very, very, very ancestral related. My African ancestors doing hoodoo, doing root work, bringing about desired intention by using certain things that were found in nature. What she failed to realize is that the very thing she was damning me for was the very thing that she wanted to fucking go and get at a store. My African print skirt. So you're going to tell me that my way of doing things is fucked up and Jesus is the only way. But while I'm at it, let me go and go see if I can buy this skirt somewhere. So what you're telling me is that, yeah, Jesus is the only way, but I love your culture. I love this and this and that, so I want to go and buy it. What you're telling me is that what I'm doing is wrong. Jesus is the only way. And colonization is what should have happened, back when it did. Bitch, did you ever read Things When Things Fall Apart? I know. I know I read it in high school. I know a lot of people did read that in high school. So what you're saying is that, okay, the New Age movement, which is generally here, I guess, well, I mean, it's all over the world, but the New Age movement is a more recent thing. What I am doing translates to eons ago. You're telling me that what I'm doing wrong now is what they were doing wrong then. Okay? So if we weren't brought over here and Christianized, that we were doomed from the start, evidently, as descendants of slaves, descendants of Africans. That is why I mentioned the part about her being white. The only thing. Her ideology was completely fucked up. Screwed. from the very beginning. And I held out on telling her that she was good. I mean, I held out on telling her anything of the sort other than I'm good, because I know what the fuck I'm doing behind the scenes. I know who my guides are. I know who my ancestors are. I know the kind of work that I'm doing. I know that there are light and there are dark beings, because I used to live in a world that everything was love and light and blah, 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 blah. And although I do exude that quality, especially when I'm talking to clients, when I'm, talking to strangers even, I always exude love and light, but I'm not dumb to the evil shit that goes on behind closed doors. And not even sometimes, not always closed doors. It can be right in your face. I'm not dumb. My niceness may qualify me, or my niceness may make people think I'm stupid. No, I'm not. So that is why, honey, if you're watching this, and I hope you are, because you were standing at my table long enough to look at my sign, I hope you understand exactly where I'm coming from. So I'm going to fast forward this story a little bit because this gets really funny. Fucking hilarious. So after I'm done vending, I'm packing up my stuff. I call my other friends. They're like, hey, we're at the Summer Solstice Festival. Won't you come over to this park? It was happening at the same time I was vending. So I said, okay, good. I'll go ahead over here and hang out with my friends. I go there, It's a really cool event. There's not a lot of black people there, which was really interesting because this is my first time going there. But I had a lot of fucking fun. Told my friend, I was like, I'm too high for this shit to see people walking around with flowers and stilts and fairy costumes. Like I was too high for that. But it made for a very fun experience. I love my friends to death. So I'm there in my whole African attire. They had the drum circle. I was in there like filling it like what. But yeah. So then we decided to go over to the reggae stage. There was a reggae band going, and I was like, oh, we got to go and listen to the reggae. So we go over to the reggae. I'm sitting there, I'm jamming. I'm like, what? Guess who the fuck I see at the Summer Solstice Festival? The same Asian chick and a white chick. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Summer Solstice Festival is definitely of the more Wiccan and pagan, like ushering in summer type shit. Bitch, why you there? You just came over to my table and damned me for New Age, but you standing here at first of all, the reggae stage. Second of all, the Summer Solstice Festival. Man, I'll tell you, if I ain't never seen a fucking hypocrite in my goddamn life. I made sure she saw me. And I made sure I looked her in the eye. I made sure she knew that I was there, and I gave two fucks about what she came and stood and said at my table. Because from where I'm looking at, we in the same goddamn place. Toast to that, motherfuckers. So, the moral of the story is, don't assume. Don't assume. That is the moral of the story. Never assume where someone is in their life. Never assume what it is that they're practicing, because from my stance, I was not practicing anything that was new age other than what my ancestors practiced eons ago. Don't assume anything. So my advice, again, well, not really even advice, but more so is the girl that came up to me at my table. Girl, go get your African print skirt. And just know the stories that line up behind that African print. Because evidently, something ain't right. So admit right, not with me, but more so you. You came up to my table out of fear because you weren't confident in yourself enough to know exactly what is wrong and what is right, how to handle yourself with spirits coming. You came up to me out of fear, thinking that I was going to run back to fear and not being able to understand, fully comprehend what I was doing. Bitch, I've been doing this for years. And I will never run out of fear because I know exactly who I am, and I know exactly what I am, and I know exactly what I can do with the right spirit team behind me. And trust me, I got a whole lot of them motherfuckers. So, yeah, that's it. That is all. All right, I think I have done enough whine rumbling on this video. I'm putting this video out there because I get people come up to me and try to save me all the time, but little do they know is that it's not about religion. It's about you trying to force your ideology on me and your fear on me, and it has absolutely nothing to do with that. Everyone lives their own lives. Everyone lives their own paths. Everyone does their own thing in their life. I do not care whether you're black, white, gay, straight, Christian, Jewish, Muslim. I don't care about any of that. If that's what you need to do, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you feel led to do, but by all means, fucking do it. And do it with confidence. Just don't come at me with your bullshit. That's it. Don't come to me telling me what I'm doing is wrong. I don't have any right to come and tell you what you're doing is wrong, and never will I, because I don't care that much to come and tell you what you are doing is wrong. That doesn't even register in my mind, because I genuinely don't care what the next person is doing. The only person I care about is me. That is it. That is it. If a lot of people thought this way, the world would be a much better place. Much better place. So, just let people live their goddamn lives. That's it. If they want to walk around in a fucking bunny costume every day, then let them do it. Who cares? Shit ain't affecting me. It ain't got nothing to do with it ain't got nothing to do with where I live. It ain't got nothing to do with what I'm eating. It has nothing to do with what I'm drinking. Who cares? So, everyone out there, I know I said I was going. I'm going to go for real this time. Oh, I just knocked my light off my table without even touching my table. So, yes, everyone, live your lives accordingly, regardless of what path you chose and regardless of what someone else may come up and tell you. Do not run in fear. Live it confidently. And if you're not confident now, build up that confidence, because a lot of people are not. And it's because we live in a predominant society where judgment is very rampant. And I come to you and tell you these stories because I clearly do not give a fuck about what anybody says about how I am living and what I am doing. I am going to be me 100% till the day I die. And if you don't like it, then kiss my ass. So I encourage you to do the same goddamn thing. Yes, I'm cursing a lot in this video. It's because this is how strongly I feel in this video. Okay? So yes, live your life to the fullest. Fuck everybody else. Peace.